It's a scary time to go shopping. There are shortages of all sorts of odds and ends, and knowing what you actually need to get you through the COVID-19 pandemic can feel super stressful. We have this master guide to everything you might need right now, and a few things you should avoid buying for the sake of the greater good. Need more information? Watch the whole video. General tips. First things first, know when you might be sick. Symptoms of the coronavirus include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. It can also cause body aches, coughing, nasal congestion, runny nose, and sore throat. A lack of these symptoms alone does not mean you are free of the virus. Many who get coronavirus show few or no symptoms, which is why we recommend following these recommendations on how to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Stay home, especially if you're sick, unless you absolutely need to leave. If you are out and about, keep your distance from others, about 6 feet. Avoid groups of 10 or more. Cover your mouth and nose when you sneeze or cough into your elbow, or use a tissue. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. You can use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol if you're on the go. Clean and disinfect areas in your home you frequently touch. Food and supplies you might need. Frankly, the most necessary supplies are things you should already have on hand: food, water, and a warm place to sleep. It's also a good idea to make sure you have basic emergency supplies on hand. 3 weeks of food. Don't buy more food than you need, but now's a good time to cook some of the dry stuff that's been sitting in your pantry. We recommend dried beans, rice, pasta, popcorn. It's a great snack. Here's a list of some good types of foods to buy, if you can find them. Canned items are great to have around. Fresh vegetables and fruit will be good for the next week or two. You can freeze those blueberries, and frozen veggies are a good choice. Milk is fine, but check the expiration date. Oat and almond milk and lactate have a longer shelf life. Utilize that freezer. Water purifier. You don't need to panic, buy a bunch of bottled water to reach the recommended 2 weeks of water in any emergency kit. It's just a lot of wasted plastic. It's unlikely anything will happen to your water supply. Water kettle, boiler. You're likely not going to lose power, so a water boiler is also a great option. It's wonderful for coffee, tea, and heating water faster than the stove. First aid kit. Everyone should have one, and now is a good time to make sure yours is still stocked with acetaminophen. Make sure your first aid supplies include a thermometer. A plan if someone gets sick. It might be on paper or in a Google spreadsheet, but please read, think about, and prepare a plan for what to do if someone in your house gets sick. Which room should they be in? How to deal with childcare if local schools or daycare get shut down, and more. We have a household plan of action list here. It's also a great time to make sure your phone's medical ID and emergency contact information are up to date. Make sure you have a good medical emergency plan in place, including the names, contact information of your doctors, and a list of local hospitals and clinics that take your insurance, for others to reference if you're ill. A month of needed medications or baby supplies. Don't forget to refill medications, pick up baby stuff like diapers, or snag other monthly use items you might forget about, like toothpaste, toilet paper. Please don't go nuts, shampoo, or anything you are extremely low on right now. Soap and/or hand sanitizer. It's tough to find both of these, but they'll be in stock sometime soon, hopefully. Please do not buy more than a few weeks' worth of supplies at a time. Panic buying massive amounts of toilet paper and cleaning supplies won't make this problem better, and it might hurt those in need. Grocery stores are already struggling to keep up with demand for some items as everyone panics and buys too much. Try not to strain the system further, or some people in your community won't have access to items they need. No face masks unless you're sick. Wearing a face mask does offer some protection from COVID-19, but you're better off washing your hands instead of buying them in bulk. There's a shortage of these masks right now, and buying them means you're taking them away from medical professionals and actual sick people who need face masks most. Please don't buy a mask unless a medical professional recommends it to you. No dehydrated food. It's full of salt and there are massive shortages. Don't make a bad thing worse. Stick to the food recommendations we informed you about. No extra toilet paper. Don't buy more unless you need it. Now is also a great time to consider making the switch to a glorious heated bidet, which can help conserve toilet paper during shortages and makes your bum feel much cleaner anyway. No hoarding an insane amount of anything. You don't need to stockpile survival supplies or prepare for nuclear winter. Just try to limit your close exposure to others, wash your hands, and avoid touching your face. Keeping normal supply streams running where they need to go is a good way to help everyone else. Gear to feel a little calmer at home. Navigating something like COVID-19 can cause stress and anxiety among even the most level-headed people. It's important to take good care of yourself, in no small part because stress takes a toll on your immune system. Do whatever you can to relax if you have time, whether that's hanging out on the couch with your kids or taking your pup for a walk. We have some tips on how to stay social at home. Steady yourself around worries about the new coronavirus. Knowing how to manage your own anxiety always takes a little thought. Ask and answer these questions. What typically happens to your body when worries mount? How worried are you? What do you fear the most? What usually helps you handle worries? When anxiety rises because we're facing a distressing threat like the new coronavirus, we need to focus on what tends to work for us to ease anxiety, that, plus doing a little bit more of some actions and a little bit less of others. Keep these thoughts in mind. You're fully prepared to help yourself. You can take steps to calm and steady yourself. Remember what works for you, because as fellow humans we're not so dissimilar, but we do tend to have our own preferences and best practices. Try doing these things more. Connect with friends and loved ones through video chats, phone calls, texting, and email. It really helps to feel the strength of your connections to your friends and loved ones, even though you may not be with them in person. Stick with sources of credible medical information, so you can avoid misinformation about the virus and the illness it causes. Try doing these things less. Please don't overdose on hype or worry or misinformation. I get some regular updates from credible sources in the morning and check again briefly toward the end of the day. There's no need to stay tuned in 24/7, it can actually make your anxiety much worse. If your kids are stuck in the house. If you have small children, be sure to do these things to entertain your young children during a quarantine. Many educational websites are waiving fees and offering online courses for kids. And even local school systems offer virtual learning platforms to keep kids on top of their studies. Quarantine is the perfect opportunity to teach kids some of the basic skills they won't learn in school. Teach your kids how to cook a meal, clean the kitchen, do yard work or take care of a pet. These skills will not only benefit them in their futures, but will benefit parents right now. Set up video calls with your kids' friends. Being away from their school friends can lead to feelings of loneliness, and continued communication will also help kids learn how to interact in social groups and maintain friendships. Talk about the past. Now is the time to tell your kids about their ancestry or what life was like for their grandparents. Better yet, help them get that information straight from the source by facilitating conversations with older family members. Those stories are one of the most valuable things you can give them. Get creative. Encourage kids to draw, make music, write stories and play games. Just because they're not in school doesn't mean they're barred from intellectual development. Exploring their creative side can help kids discover new interests and learn about the world around them. If you're working from home, stay connected to your coworkers. Working from home might help you focus on your work in the short term, but it can also make you feel cut off from the rest of the company. Instant messaging, community engagement threads, and video conferencing can make it easy to check in with coworkers and remind you how your work is contributing to the bigger picture. Making these check-ins a regular part of your day when at home can also be a great way to add some structure. For example, consider having employees begin the day with a 15-minute call with their managers to provide a more direct communication channel. Employees can get specific questions answered before diving into work, and managers can adjust priorities without creating confusion. Clearly communicate expectations for managers. Clearly state what you hope your employees to accomplish in a given day. Employers are often wary of offering remote work opportunities for fear that employees will take advantage of the policy. However, 65% of employees think they would be more productive at home than in the office. To mitigate the two, determine how you'll track productivity. Where activity logs might imply distrust and facilitate discontent, consider gauging productivity by tracking completed tasks, or utilizing a task management platform to make progress visible. Outline responsiveness and availability expectations to ensure that tasks are being completed on time. Communication guidelines need to be clarified and set with managers. Are employees expected to be online and available over the course of the entire workday, or just during set hours? How are WFH employees expected to handle their meeting schedules? Setting clear expectations allows employees to better coordinate personal matters alongside their work responsibilities and be more productive. It's also important to set guidelines for preferred modes of communication. Doing so holds remote workers accountable and predetermines a set source of information. If you need something to do, meditate. It sounds a little up in the clouds, but meditation not only gives your brain a much-needed break, but it helps relieve stress and anxiety, both of which negatively affect our ability to think creatively. Meditation promotes emotional health, enhances your self-awareness, improves your attention span, and might even reduce memory loss. Get creative. Being creative is the spice of life, and this might be an opportunity to start letting your creative juices flow. For example, try new recipes with those things in your pantry, or with what's left at your local grocery store. Toilet paper, anyone? But don't cook with that. More examples include arts and crafts, like sewing or knitting. Or woodworking. Watercolor painting is a cheap and easy way to start dabbling with art. Or, practice the instrument, guitar, keyboard, flute, etc., that you've always wanted to learn but never had the time. Or, start writing the book you've wanted to write. Or the blog you've been meaning to start. Try new ideas, or restart old ones. During your quarantine, take this opportunity to try new things, or start doing those things that your previous commute or work schedule prevented. For example, things like eating clean, exercising regularly, reading, creating and learning, home improvements or repairs, starting that side project you always wanted to try, anything that your commute or office work distracted you from. Use this time to start doing those things. You might be surprised at how many fresh ideas these new habits will generate. Prepare for a new career. This might seem extreme, but if you've been waiting for an opportunity to change your career, this could be the perfect change to start preparing. Always wanted to get into artificial intelligence? Or computer science? Or heck, maybe you're just tired of being tied to a cubicle and want an opportunity to work outside more, i.e., contracting, landscaping, etc. Whatever change you're looking for, use this time to start in that direction. This might include practicing a new skill, taking online classes, working with a friend on a small business, building a brand new resume for your new career. Watch, listen, or stream a new movies and TV. Here are 3 selections from 2019. Dickinson, Apple TV+, a dreamy show about weirdos, for weirdos. The premise is that Emily Dickinson speaks in modern teenage patois, scored to Billie Eilish. It sounded gimmicky, but, a few episodes in, this stoned, surprising debut got under my skin. BoJack Horseman, Netflix, the sharpest response to #MeToo on television, a satirical interrogation of antihero art, and also a rich meditation on addiction to everything, including TV. Couples Therapy, Showtime, reality show or horror movie. Either way, there was something riveting about this peek into other people's marriages, especially the sessions with the manipulative narcissist who made me fantasize about performing a citizen's divorce. Have other tips or ideas of your own to help fight boredom during this difficult time? I'd love to hear in the comments. Do let us know in the comments on what topics you want us to make our next video. Don't forget to hit the like button. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon to get notifications about our new videos.